Good Erev Shabbos, dear community, family. As always, it's an honor and pleasure to share some words before Shabbos comes in that gives us some idea, inspiration of the very special nature of this Shabbat. There's an axiomatic statement that Shabbos is a fulcrum, it's a center point that serves to integrate all the days of the prior week. As our rabbis tell us, Kol Torach Be'erev Shabbos Yochal B'Shabbos. Each one of us who works before Shabbat, the week before Shabbat, starting from Sunday, all of that energy and positivity elevates and integrates into the Shabbat when it is blessed. And another statement is Shabbat Minei Mizbarchin Kula Yemin. Shabbos, the Zohar says, blesses all the days of the coming week. And so Shabbos is a center point. There's this Shabbos as well, surrounded by extraordinary elements this past week and the coming week. Particularly as we begin this Torah reading, and Yaakov sends malachim, emissaries, agents, representatives, to represent him to his brother in that wild outside world and prepare for Jacob and his family's meeting. It is a beginning of the story of shlichut, of creating emissaries to serve on your behalf, to go out there into the world and impact and even face the most incredible kinds of challenges, as Yaakov's emissaries faced and as Yaakov himself faced, which is the real story of Chabad, of the Rebbe. Anybody who relates to the Rebbe and his global impact immediately has to come to the concept of this concept of shluchim. The Rebbe established an idea and a very powerful army of emissaries that have gone to the entire world, in every single corner of the world, the most favorable places and the most difficult places, the places that have most greatest light, like Jerusalem, and places that have greatest darkness, like the prisons of America and the rest of the world. The Rebbe sends his emissaries, as Jacob did, everywhere. And that brings us to the very special events that are taking place and have taken place. Yesterday was the 93rd anniversary of the Rebbe's marriage. The Rebbe's marriage is a real powerful moment in the history of Chabad, because it's his relationship with the previous Rebbe's daughter that qualified him in a technical way to take on the leadership of Chabad for the seventh and most powerful generation, a generation in preparation for Mashiach. This coming week, on Tuesday, we will celebrate the 19th, 20th of Kislev, which is referred to among Hasidim as the Rosh Hashanah for Hasidut, the beginning of the Hasidic Chabad movement in its extraordinary, powerful outreach and bringing a concept of understanding, feeling, and relating to God in a way that is practical and that is applicable in our daily lives to the greatest, vastest majority of population, spreading the well springs of Hasidic thought to the furthest reaches. That began in its most earnestness on Yutas Kislev, when the Alter Rebbe, who was imprisoned on falsified, fabricated charges because he supported Israel, which was under the Turkish regime at that time, not in good terms with Russia, and he was sentenced as a traitor and then released on the 19th of Kislev, which in some important fashion promulgated to the world this concept of the truth, veracity, benefits of the Alter Rebbe's teachings, and how a person must live, specifically as articulated in the seminal work of Hasidus that he authored, the Tanya, that we start to read again this Tuesday on an annual cycle. And this really takes us to this portion where we continue to understand how we prepare ourselves for our voyage and journey in exile. Jacob is now going into a real exile. He's facing Esau, who has vowed to kill him. He has an experience where his daughter is kidnapped, molested, and he can do nothing about it. All his daughter does is go out and try to awaken the women of that period to also understand godliness. But this beautiful, naive Jewish woman, raised in the holy environment of Jacob and his family, and all of a sudden confronted with the social influences of a corrupt society, having no controls over the animal instincts of that corrupt society, is captured, kidnapped, vilified. That's the story of the Jewish people throughout history. Jacob struggles with an angel. Why does Jacob have to struggle with an angel? What does that story mean to us? It's all one story of the Jewish people. We are brought into this world not to be retained in an island. We don't live in a select ghettoized environment. The Jew is not a ghettoized person. Abraham didn't live in a ghetto. He walked and impacted the world. Isaac, he stayed in Israel, but he also did not live in a ghetto, interacted with kings and royalty of that period. Jacob, of course, went into the entire world, even to Egypt. Our mission is not only to live as Jews in our own lives, but to serve as a lighthouse, as an amplifier of God's truth to the rest of the world. And in that way, we have many challenges. We have spiritual challenges, ideological challenges. Angels come to us, other philosophies, other thought processes, other hallucinatory mechanisms. Why don't you try ours? It's easier. You can eat what you want. You can do what you want. Take this drug and you'll find yourself in another world. That's not the Jewish way. The Jewish way is to struggle. The Jewish way is to work, to achieve, and to go through the physical world in order to perfect it. He fights with the angel and he overcomes him. The angel does damage him, but not for long. That damage retains for a short while. And he says, yes, you can damage me. Yes, you can make me limp, but you can't stop me, because I am on my way to fulfill my mission to make the world a holier, a better place. Like Menachem Begin, a blessed memory, said, you can break my knee, but you can break my leg, but you can never bend my knee. I am who I am, the Jew, under every circumstance. And when you take a Jewish woman and you kidnap her, you do what you have to do to fulfill your animal instinct, your lusts, you pay the price, because the Jew remains pure, and a Jewish woman can never be contaminated in that way. And from that reason, each one of us has a soul, a beautiful soul, no matter what happens out there, no matter where you've been. Your soul is a godly, connected soul that's part of the Jewish people, it's part of the family of Israel. Keep it, be proud of it, and know that no matter what challenge comes, at the end of the day, we are God's chosen, beloved children. God bless you. Have a wonderful, great Shabbos. Come celebrate with us on Shabbat. Celebrate with us on Tuesday night when we have the special Farbrengen for the 19th of Kislev. There'll be a special children's program. Look it up on the website. God bless you and have a wonderful, great Shabbat and a great week.